9 months after the Joker's cremation, Gotham experienced an unexpected period of reduced crime instead of the anticipated power struggle. Despite the apparent calm, there was an underlying tension as everyone waited for the next major conflict to erupt. A seemingly normal scene in a diner turns chaotic when a customer violently reacts to being asked not to smoke. This incident marks the beginning of a larger crisis in Gotham. A terrifying demonstration of a new toxin takes place, with only a few survivors. The perpetrator warns that this is just a small preview of what is to come, using only 5% of the toxin. The city evacuation proceeds, while Batman and Commissioner Gordon discuss tracking an unknown military vehicle in Chinatown. Gordon expresses concern about the city's limited resources and manpower. After intense pursuit, Batman captures and interrogates a driver who reveals Scarecrow's location in a Chinatown penthouse. The situation becomes more urgent as new details emerge. Upon investigating the penthouse, Batman encounters Poison Ivy, who is imprisoned there. She reveals details about a meeting where major villains plan to take down Batman and control Gotham. The conflict escalates with the appearance of unmanned tanks throughout Chinatown. Batman activates the Batmobile weapon systems to counter this new threat, while transport helicopters bring more tanks into the city. A breakthrough occurs in analyzing Scarecrow's toxin. Instead of focusing on the compound itself, attention shifts to tracking its unique radiation signature during manufacturing, potentially revealing Scarecrow's location. Technical preparations continue as Batman works to locate Scarecrow. A conversation with Oracle reveals tension between Batman and Robin, who wants to help but is kept at a distance. The mission becomes more complex as Batman encounters a hostage situation requiring stealth and strategy. New advanced armor technology is deployed to help handle the escalating threats. The bodysuit features an advanced titanium weave design with liquid armor technology that hardens on impact. This innovative tech allows for enhanced shock absorption and improved counterattack capabilities. The suit offers greater flexibility and maneuverability than previous versions, making it perfect for taking down multiple opponents quickly. It's also compatible with the Batmobile's electromagnetic ejection system. During a hostage situation with 3 armed gunmen, the new suit's capabilities were put to the test. The enhanced speed and mobility allowed for stealthy approaches and quick takedowns before the attackers could react. After successfully rescuing the hostage, the next step was connecting to the microwave tower to track down the main target. Using both antenna towers to analyze radio and microwave frequencies across the city led to discovering that Ace Chemicals was being used as the toxin manufacturing site. Despite having a team stationed there since the evacuation, something had clearly gone wrong at the facility. Investigation revealed a massive army had been assembled by someone known as the Arkham Knight. Intel from Black Ops teams in Venezuela uncovered a hidden training facility with soldiers wearing matching insignias, though details about their commander remained mysterious. The mission at Ace Chemicals involved locating surviving workers who could help track down the toxin bomb. Each worker had a unique ID chip that could be traced through personnel records. The facility was heavily guarded by armed soldiers preparing for final evacuation within 30 minutes. The situation grew dire as workers began being eliminated. The militia's communication network revealed extensive plans for taking control of the city. A heavily armored vehicle entered the compound, leading to intense confrontations with enemy tanks and drones. A rescued worker revealed the horrifying scope of the operation. The toxin being produced could potentially cover the entire Eastern Seaboard. The facility had been overtaken for hours, with trucks, weapons, and hazardous materials being brought in as part of a carefully orchestrated plan. tense confrontation revealed the enemies knew their target's tactics and were prepared to counter them. The situation at Ace Chemicals was rapidly deteriorating, with scarce time remaining before the toxin release. The central mixing chamber became the critical location for stopping the impending disaster. With the clock ticking down, efforts focused on finding a way into the sealed central mixing chamber through a service tunnel. Meanwhile, strike teams were being positioned for the next phase of their mysterious plan, adding another layer of urgency to an already critical situation. A tense situation involving drone tanks and military forces is unfolding. There are concerns about sentry guns and soldiers requiring swift and stealthy action to avoid detection. The situation appears to involve a large armored vehicle, causing apprehension among those present. The situation has escalated as tanks have taken over the city in what appears to be a carefully orchestrated plan weeks in the making. Forces are regrouping at the precinct while dealing with an imminent explosion threat. A client is mentioned as Phase 1 of some operation reaches completion. A disturbing plot is revealed involving Ace Chemicals facility. The city evacuation was actually part of a calculated plan, as the facility is being used to create a massive bomb. The blast radius would be so extensive that evacuation would be futile. Forces are being positioned across the West Island. A sinister plan to transform Gotham into a wasteland is unveiled. The goal is to create an explosion that would affect the entire eastern coast. The immediate objective is to prevent chemicals from being loaded into a mixing chamber. Workers are being pressured to maintain a strict schedule. The chemical loading process has been interrupted, leading to a confrontation. The blast radius continues to expand, reaching 31 miles. A hostage situation develops involving Barbara Gordon, creating additional pressure during the crisis. Efforts are underway to neutralize the explosive threat. Despite warnings about the personal risk involved, work continues to reduce the blast radius using volatile neutralizing agents that require careful handling. Commissioner Gordon discovers a secret facility where disturbing experiments are taking place. A confrontation occurs with someone who appears to be mentally unstable and has a personal vendetta against law enforcement. A medical crisis is revealed involving contaminated blood transfusions. 5 people have been affected by a mutated form of disease, with 1 person showing immunity. Research is being conducted to understand the immunity while keeping the infected contained. The crisis at Ace Chemicals has been partially contained, with the blast radius reduced and toxin spread prevented. However, hostile forces remain throughout Gotham, equipped with tanks and missiles. The situation is complicated by exposure to fear toxin. A rescue mission is launched to find Barbara Gordon, who has been taken from the clock tower by hostile forces. The city remains extremely dangerous, with militia forces actively pursuing law enforcement officials. Analysis reveals heavy militia occupation across 3 islands, with significant drone forces and defensive installations. The clock tower area is heavily defended, requiring careful tactical approach to secure the location. The tense situation unfolds at a critical moment involving Jim Gordon. His daughter Barbara has been taken, adding to the trauma of her previous injury. There is heavy guilt and blame surrounding these events, with suggestions that others may be responsible for what happened to Barbara. An emotional confrontation occurs with Jim Gordon, who blames himself for his daughter's situation. Despite attempts to reason with him, Jim rejects help and demands to handle the situation alone, declaring he should never have trusted others with his family's safety. Investigation begins into Barbara's disappearance. The security cameras at the clock tower were disabled, but municipal CCTV footage reveals the getaway vehicle. The unique tire treads from Amtech D60s provide a promising lead to track the kidnappers. The investigation expands to include the Arkham Knight's identity, suggesting connections to Arkham City and former inmates. Security protocols are activated while the search continues through Gotham's expansive cityscape, despite an army standing in the way. A dangerous explosive device is discovered planted in the road. A plan forms to hack and defuse it using a controlled explosion, but militia forces deploy unmanned tanks to prevent the diffusion attempt. The situation with the explosive device becomes more complex. A virus upload destabilizes it, creating a risk of massive destruction if the connection is lost. Meanwhile, relentless drone attacks continue to complicate the diffusion effort. Progress is made against the drones, allowing access to the bomb's payload. However, threats emerge that the entire city has been rigged with explosives, with promises of more drone resistance for any attempted disarmament. The pursuit leads to Mayagani Island, but access is blocked as the militia has taken control of the transport system. The trail points to Grand Avenue Station as the militia's control point. A confrontation occurs at the station with militia forces guarding the uplink terminal. After clearing the opposition, access to the bridge controls becomes possible. Bridge controls are restored, but the situation is complicated by Riddler's sudden involvement. He issues a challenge regarding an abandoned orphanage, threatening harm to a feline friend if his demands aren't met. The scene shifts to a tense standoff involving Catwoman, who has been trapped as bait. The situation reveals itself as part of Riddler's elaborate scheme of challenges and puzzles. The focus returns to the bridges as control is regained. A difficult choice presents itself between saving different captured allies while Riddler continues to taunt with his deadly challenges. Riddler's trials continue with increasingly complex puzzles and challenges. Success in these trials is crucial for saving Catwoman's life, who faces mortal danger from a deadly collar device. Progress is made through Riddler's challenges, though he continues to taunt about greater trials ahead. Meanwhile, important information about Miss Gordon's work before her abduction comes to light, suggesting new leads in the investigation. In the midst of an intense situation, there's a discussion about targeting drone weaknesses using Vulcan guns. The action is moving to Mayagani Island, which needs to be locked down. Meanwhile, Selina remains trapped in an orphanage, and a target has been spotted in the northern sector. A mysterious riddle challenge is presented in the Riddletorium. The captive friend is unharmed, but access requires solving a riddle about reflection. The situation creates an atmosphere of suspense and intellectual challenge. Selina is revealed wearing an explosive necklace, creating a tense situation. The Riddler has set up a dangerous game requiring teamwork. The room ahead contains hidden keys and promises challenging obstacles that must be overcome together. The next challenge awaits at Elliott Memorial Hospital. There is discussion about professional relationships and choosing sides, revealing complex dynamics between the characters. The situation remains tense, with the explosive collar still in play. The Riddler boasts about his superior intellect and reveals that previous challenges were merely preliminary. The scene shifts to a unique racetrack setting, establishing a new phase of increasingly difficult challenges. The action moves to Gotham Casino for the next test. The Riddler continues his condescending commentary, comparing his challengers to simple animals while setting up increasingly complex obstacles. The challenges continue at the orphanage with more riddle rooms. Selina describes the Riddler's detailed explanation of his explosive collar technology, showing his technical expertise and threatening nature. The action moves to Wayne Tower, where encrypted data needs decoding to track the Arkham Knight. Reports come in about mysterious figures and suspicious fires across Gotham, adding new complications to the situation. The final sequence involves analyzing voice prints to locate the Arkham Knight in the Mayagani tunnel network. Vehicle upgrades are discussed, including weapons improvements that promise to enhance combat capabilities. The drone virus has been causing chaos by making militia tanks target their allies. A weapons upgrade was prepared to help combat this threat. The conversation reveals a hidden identity, suggesting that maintaining a public persona as a socialite serves as an effective cover story. The action moves to the Mayagani tunnel system, where the Arkham Knight has been traced. The area is heavily guarded by drones, making it dangerous to engage without proper equipment. The situation outside the tunnel becomes intense with heavy contact and disabled armor. A concerning situation develops regarding Barbara's whereabouts, with attempts to keep her status hidden from Tim, who is working on developing a cure. The tension builds as questions about Barbara's safety remain unanswered, highlighting the complex web of relationships and secrets. An intense confrontation unfolds in the control room, featuring specialized Titan-coated armor plating that requires precise targeting to penetrate. The battle demonstrates advanced combat techniques and strategic weaponry deployment. The pursuit of the Arkham Knight continues through the tunnels, but a scan reveals only one person, the driver, in the vehicle. The situation becomes more complex as it becomes clear the target might have anticipated the pursuit strategy. Investigation reveals a connection to North Refrigeration, a front company used for distributing weapons throughout the city. This lead connects to Penguin's involvement in supplying safe houses for the attack, providing a new direction for the search. Additional support arrives from Nightwing, who brings crucial information about North Refrigeration from his investigations in Bloodhaven. The discussion reveals the need to track weapon shipments and locate hidden weapon caches throughout the city. The investigation leads to Simon Stagg, a pharmaceutical company executive, and his airships over the West River. This connection provides a crucial link in understanding the broader conspiracy unfolding in Gotham. The confrontation involves dealing with explosive materials and securing dangerous weapons. The operation reveals the extent of the weapons trafficking operation and the need to prevent these armaments from reaching the streets of Gotham. A tense ambush situation unfolds, with militia forces engaging in a firefight. The militia snipers are trying to confirm if they successfully hit their target, but there's uncertainty and hesitation among them about checking the body. Important intel reveals Simon Stagg is the CEO of Stagg Enterprises, specializing in advanced medical research. The mission involves reaching Stagg's airships, which are currently being protected by militia forces with radar and missile launchers on Founders Island. A stealthy rooftop approach is required to avoid detection. Stagg's airship has been captured and secured by militia forces. The guards are preparing for Scarecrow's arrival, suggesting a larger plan is in motion. A shocking revelation about a secret identity creates an unexpected twist in the situation. The militia has established control of the airship and set up defensive positions, including a watchtower with sentry guns. The enemies are equipped with advanced tracking technology that can detect surveillance attempts, requiring careful tactical approaches. A plan forms to access the airship through a service hatch using specialized decryption software and remote hacking technology. The tech allows for control of various systems but has limited range and must be used strategically. After successfully acquiring security codes, attention turns to infiltrating the electronic locks protecting the airship. The massive scale of the operation becomes apparent, highlighting the challenge ahead. Simon Stagg is discovered being brutally interrogated by hostile forces. They are searching for important files and threatening extreme measures to extract information. The situation requires immediate intervention to prevent further harm. After a rescue operation, Stagg reveals information about Nimbus generators, clean power cell technology being developed by his company. Scarecrow is confirmed to be on a second airship, along with another captive. The access points are revealed to be voice-activated. Tension escalates as psychological warfare tactics are employed, with threats made against a captive. The situation becomes more personal as past events at Ace Chemicals are referenced, suggesting this is part of a larger revenge plot. A methodical process begins to reconstruct Stagg's fingerprints from various surfaces he touched during his abduction. This requires careful analysis of security footage and scanning multiple locations to build a complete set. After successfully accessing the computer systems, work begins on dealing with the airship defenses. Meanwhile, an investigation into the mysterious Arkham Knight's identity focuses on former inmates with military backgrounds. Combat becomes more complex with the discovery that militia suits can carry electrical charges, requiring adaptation of fighting tactics. New vehicle upgrades become available, including an EMP blast system for defensive measures. Research notes reveal a partnership gone wrong between Stagg and Scarecrow. The development of a powerful formula and a device called the Cloudburst created tension, with Stagg seeing profit potential while Scarecrow focused on personal vengeance. A tense situation unfolds as guards discuss dealing with Scarecrow's toxin and protecting a device called the Cloudburst. They receive orders to stop Batman from reaching their boss, with threats of punishment if they fail. The atmosphere is filled with fear and anxiety as they prepare for an inevitable confrontation. The situation intensifies as teams are organized to both charge the Cloudburst and locate Batman. Someone is desperately pleading to be released, fearing they will be killed. The guards are on high alert, aware that Batman is lurking somewhere nearby, preparing their defense strategies. A twisted game unfolds where someone must choose between multiple Scarecrows. The scene becomes nightmarish as fear toxin takes effect, causing intense hallucinations and breathing difficulties. The victim experiences their worst fears while being taunted about the fall of Gotham and loss of hope. The situation in Gotham becomes dire as a broadcast reveals the city on the brink of destruction. Oracle is being held captive at a safe house in Chinatown, creating urgency to reach her before it's too late. The tension mounts as time runs short. Tragic news about Barbara spreads, leading to intense grief and guilt. Discussion turns to the Cloudburst, revealed to be a dispersal device for fear toxin that could affect the entire city. The focus shifts to stopping this threat and preventing further casualties. A potential solution emerges through Ivy, who is immune to the fear toxin. She explains creating a spore that could counter the toxin's effects citywide, but needs help producing enough. The plan leads to the botanical gardens, where the city's oldest plants might hold the key. The journey continues with intense vehicle combat and psychological warfare. The mission to get Ivy to the botanical gardens becomes crucial for saving Gotham. Upon arrival, they discover an ancient tree holding great power but weakened by pollution, requiring additional help to fight the toxin. The plan develops to track an ancient root system underground, requiring special equipment from Wayne Tower. Meanwhile, other situations demand attention, including Nightwing's tracking of Penguin's weapons shipments and a bank robbery by Two-Face associates in Chinatown. The Batmobile has been upgraded with ground-penetrating sonar technology capable of detecting underground root systems. Due to security concerns, remote production capabilities are being transferred to ensure safety and continued operations. The situation in Gotham is intensifying as the Arkham Knight deploys more forces across Founders Island. A method to track root systems beneath Gotham has been discovered, which could help locate and revive forgotten plant life, essential to combating the current crisis. Plants are under attack, but showing signs of recovery. Defensive measures are being taken to protect the growing vegetation, which needs time to develop fully. The strengthening process continues as the plants gain resilience. The mature plant system is now strong enough to potentially neutralize toxic threats. Meanwhile, interference is preventing the location of important equipment. A full analysis of enemy forces is underway, with data being processed at the movie studios. Multiple criminal elements remain active in the city. A difficult situation involving Barbara requires careful handling to prevent emotional complications that could impact ongoing operations and team dynamics. Progress is being hindered by security systems on Founders Island, including radar towers and missile launchers. A special relay drone has been identified as key to bypassing these defenses, though acquiring it poses significant risks. A plan is developed to temporarily blind defensive drones using a relay chip, creating an opportunity to neutralize the radar towers. This tactical approach should enable broader scanning capabilities to locate crucial equipment. Operations to lower bridges into Founders Island are underway, while enemy forces deploy countermeasures. Remote guidance systems are being utilized to navigate hostile territory and engage defensive positions. Investigation into the Arkham Knight's identity continues, focusing on former Arkham Asylum inmates. The search parameters are being expanded to include anyone with potential connections to past incidents. The focus shifts to addressing multiple threats, including Riddler's challenges. A confrontation is brewing at an abandoned orphanage, adding another layer of complexity to the current crisis. Tensions escalate as personal vendettas come to the surface. The situation at the orphanage becomes more pressing, with challenges requiring both physical and mental expertise to overcome. A challenge presents itself in the form of a complex puzzle combining elements of modern and medieval design. The solution appears to require careful analysis rather than brute force, testing both tactical and problem-solving abilities. Two individuals are making their escape from a location, with keys found by the entrance. There is playful banter about dodging a saw blade and one person composing themselves before departing. Discussion about evacuation of central Gotham due to Scarecrow's threats. Plans are made to check on the security of Bruce Wayne's mansion while the city deals with the crisis. A heated confrontation occurs with Riddler, who is furious about being outsmarted. He challenges to a battle, but insists it must be earned by solving every riddle in the city first, showing his intellectual pride and superiority complex. A tense exchange about priorities and responsibilities. While one party suggests celebrating at museums or hotels, the other insists on continuing their mission, highlighting their dedication to protecting the city even during difficult nights. An emergency situation develops at movie studios where Robin is in danger. The Batwing completes a scan of Founders Island, but finds no sign of the cloudburst. The situation becomes more urgent with Harley Quinn appearing at the scene. Security situation intensifies with guards being taken out and orders for increased roof protection. A voice synthesizer is used to manipulate Harley's men, while concerns grow about people changing into something dangerous. A security breach occurs with Harley Quinn infiltrating a facility. 3 targets are identified in different locations: Albert King in the Wild West set, Christina Bell in the haunted house, and another in the soundstage. Chaotic situation unfolds with multiple threats and confrontations. Harley Quinn maintains control over her followers while expressing personal vendettas and making threats against various individuals. Technical challenges arise with a mechanical lock system. Assistance is requested to access CCTV footage, revealing a dangerous situation involving a bomb vest. The situation requires careful handling and technical expertise. A tense confrontation unfolds with multiple explosive devices placed around a room. A musical performance begins in an asylum setting, creating an eerie atmosphere with dark undertones about power dynamics and control. The confrontation continues with references to past events in Arkham City, including tragic losses. The situation involves psychological manipulation and taunting, with bombs being systematically disarmed while dealing with a character named Charisma. After neutralizing the threat, attention turns to transporting a captive back to containment. The team discusses vehicle upgrades needed for dealing with hostile tanks, highlighting the need for stealth and strategy. Security measures are being negotiated at a gate, with confusion among guards about proper protocols. Strategic planning is underway for vehicle modifications to counter enemy tanks. A tense interrogation scene unfolds with psychological manipulation tactics being employed. The situation involves themes of abandonment and control. A disturbing encounter occurs involving multiple characters, including Jason and Tim. The scene builds tension toward an inevitable confrontation. An intense physical confrontation breaks out with multiple participants. The fighting demonstrates skilled combat abilities from all involved parties. Henry requests urgent assistance as Harley Quinn and her crew attempt to break in. The situation requires immediate intervention and tactical planning. A confrontation at the gate continues with increasing tension. The situation involves complex loyalties and conflicting orders, leading to confusion among the guards. The standoff escalates as various factions argue over custody of infected individuals. The situation becomes increasingly volatile with threats of violence. A successful intervention leads to apprehending key targets. The focus shifts to securing them in appropriate containment facilities. A shocking revelation about Henry occurs, followed by an unexpected security breach. The situation quickly spirals into chaos, with multiple threats emerging. The confrontation takes an evolutionary theme, with discussions of survival and adaptation. A critical decision point approaches with potentially devastating consequences. Internal struggles intensify as difficult choices must be made regarding containment and safety protocols. The situation becomes increasingly complex, with multiple psychological elements at play. Military forces converge on the location as the Arkham Knight makes their presence known. The situation requires immediate tactical response while maintaining control of current objectives. A discussion about the Nimbus field surrounding Scarecrow's victims reveals its role in amplifying toxin effects. The field fries vehicles without Nimbus cells, leading to a plan to borrow one. Alfred Stagg has provided a method to confront the Cloud Burst tank, requiring installation of a Nimbus cell into the main power drive. The conversation shifts to the toxin's ability to penetrate suit fibers, making even gas masks ineffective for prolonged exposure. The narrative reveals that Poison Ivy, despite her hatred for the city, is helping but dying from the toxin's effects, which harm plants but target human minds. The situation becomes more intense as plans move forward, despite the risks of psychological trauma from toxin exposure. The process of removing the power core must be done carefully to avoid triggering the failsafe lock. The effects of the toxin begin manifesting, causing hallucinations and mental strain. The struggle between maintaining control and succumbing to the toxin's influence becomes apparent, with instructions to take slow, deep breaths to stay focused. After a challenging moment, there is temporary recovery from the toxin's effects. The atmosphere remains tense as the mental battle continues, with concerns about maintaining control and resisting the toxin's influence. The fear toxin is interfering with the Batmobile's scanning capabilities, making it difficult to track the cloud burst. A plan emerges to find another plant, specifically a tree beneath Founders Island that the Mayagani people called Ayana. The search continues underground through the Gotham subway extension. A trap awaits at the container yard, filled with militia tanks that must be confronted to reach the objective. Combat ensues at Port Adams, with drones and tanks engaging in battle. Despite taking hits, the armor remains intact as the fight continues through the container yard. The mission continues through tunnels despite taunts and obstacles. The focus remains on disabling drones one at a time while managing their reactivation timing. The battle intensifies with philosophical observations about fear and hope, interwoven with combat against Rattler drones. The struggle represents more than just physical conflict, touching on deeper themes of fear versus hope. The scene opens with high tension as Batman arrives ahead of schedule. The antagonist expresses a warped philosophical view about Batman being a false symbol of hope. There are dark implications about Commissioner Gordon's daughter Barbara being harmed. The situation is clearly hostile, with armed forces prepared for Batman's arrival. The tactical situation is being explained to armed forces facing Batman. They are warned about proper targeting, with emphasis on avoiding shots that would be ineffective against Batman's armor. The mysterious Arkham Knight appears to have intimate knowledge of Batman's capabilities. The forces are heavily armed, even more than usual criminal groups. The situation escalates as it becomes clear the antagonists have detailed intel about Batman, possibly extracted from his allies. Commissioner Gordon is being held beyond a wall that requires the Batmobile to breach. Batman needs to devise a plan using industrial equipment to position the Batmobile effectively. Batman navigates through tunnels trying to reach Commissioner Gordon, but faces obstacles. The path is being remotely controlled by the Arkham Knight, forcing Batman to confront this new adversary despite the Batmobile's limitations. The situation becomes a test of Batman's determination and ingenuity. A shocking revelation occurs. The Arkham Knight is revealed to be Jason Todd, previously thought dead. This creates an emotionally charged confrontation as Jason expresses feelings of betrayal and abandonment by Batman. The situation becomes personally devastating as Batman faces his former protege turned enemy. Following an intense confrontation, the focus shifts to a rooftop scene with Scarecrow. Commissioner Gordon and Batman share a poignant moment reflecting on their long history together, including the night of Bruce Wayne's parents' deaths. Their conversation emphasizes their shared dedication to protecting family. Oracle, Barbara, regains access to her computer systems at the clock tower, though some data is corrupted. The team works to track Scarecrow's location while dealing with increasing militia presence. The situation becomes more urgent as they try to locate Commissioner Gordon. The action culminates in an intense battle involving drones and militia forces. Oracle assists Batman by hacking enemy drones, turning them against their owners. The team works together effectively, showing their coordination and determination in face of overwhelming odds. A tense confrontation unfolds with multiple people involved in what appears to be a dangerous situation requiring first aid. The scene is chaotic, with several individuals present, and Batman is expected to intervene. An alarming situation develops at movie studios where Scarecrow has gained access using Commissioner Gordon's voice. Robin is unreachable and potentially in danger, causing serious concern. The situation is deteriorating quickly, with both Gordon and Robin possibly being held captive. The situation with Robin becomes more dire as he becomes another victim of a supervillain. Scarecrow has likely used fear gas on him, creating a dangerous and potentially fatal situation. The dynamic between the heroes is being severely tested by these events. Scarecrow issues an ultimatum: surrender at a storage depot in Kingston, or friends will die. The situation becomes a moral dilemma about protecting allies versus maintaining security. Fear is being used as a weapon to force difficult choices. A psychological battle intensifies as fears and weaknesses are exploited. The conflict centers around identity and the power of masks, with threats to expose secrets and harm loved ones. The situation reaches a critical point of decision. A shocking revelation occurs as Bruce Wayne is exposed as Batman. The unmasking creates a vulnerable situation where a legend becomes human. The consequences of this exposure begin to unfold with immediate threats to personal safety. The aftermath of the revelation leads to a psychological breakdown and chaos. A promise of vengeance emerges, threatening to tear apart everything that has been protected. The city faces potential destruction as consequences cascade. A final confrontation leads to triumph over fear itself. The power dynamic shifts as psychological barriers are broken, leading to a significant victory against those who would use fear as a weapon. With Bruce Wayne's identity revealed, Gotham faces a new reality. The implementation of a mysterious Nightfall protocol begins, suggesting major changes ahead. The city still needs protection for one final night. A heated argument erupts between Catwoman and Riddler about fair play during a battle. Riddler is upset about losing and accuses Catwoman of cheating by getting help to bypass robot encryption and programming. He stubbornly insists he never needs assistance from anyone while displaying his trademark green attitude. The Riddler, displaying his usual arrogance, refuses legal representation and declares he will defend himself. He threatens that he is learning more about his opponent with each puzzle encounter and promises a deadly riddle in the future. Meanwhile, Alfred congratulates his ally on keeping Gotham safe and defeating its villains. A confrontation occurs where someone mocks Riddler's intelligence and criticizes religious faith as superstition, comparing it to emulating Gotham's defender. The situation concludes with Gotham being secured and safe, with acknowledgments made to the efforts in protecting the city. A pivotal moment unfolds as Bruce Wayne is publicly unmasked as Batman. Despite concerns from his butler Alfred, Bruce accepts this revelation as necessary to protect others. News crews capture his final entrance into Wayne Manor. The legend of Batman concludes as his identity becomes public. A reflection on how Batman used fear against criminals is shared, noting how his dark crusade affected everyone. Though his war ended, it allowed others to begin new lives. The mystery of Bruce Wayne's fate remains unsolved despite numerous suspects. In Batman's absence, criminals become bolder, no longer fearing the Dark Knight. A robbery scene unfolds where criminals mock their victim, highlighting the growing lawlessness in Gotham without its protector. The situation takes an unexpected turn as something causes alarm among the criminals, suggesting that perhaps Gotham isn't as unprotected as they thought. The atmosphere remains tense, with uncertainty about the city's future.